And I'm Ashley Brown. I'm the middle school counselor.
And I'm Shannon Beltakis. I'm the middle school assistant principal.
And we're sharing with you a little bit about how you can raise resilient students. That's our goal for your child in the middle school. And I know so many of you want your children to be resilient for all the things that life might throw at them.
So, middle school is the time when students are putting all the pieces together on how to be independent and functioning members of society. We're teaching the building blocks for success. And one of the main areas we want to grow is their resilience.
Okay, so resilience is basically the ability to adapt, bounce back, and recover from anything that comes at them that's difficult or hard. You might not think of something as difficult or traumatic, but to them, it might feel that way. And we know as adults that in life, hard things happen. And so we want our children to have the confidence and knowledge that they can handle anything that life throws at them. That starts even now as they handle life changes or anything that might feel uncomfortable. So, building resilience involves some different skills. Some skills we want to build with them that you can support at home is modeling a positive mindset for them. We also want to recognize and build our students' strengths because strengths are what we use when we need to tap into things to deal with hard times. We want to also encourage self advocacy because we all know that we all need help sometimes. And to know that you can access the help that you need or advocate for what you need is a powerful tool.
The first thing we want to talk about is modeling a positive mindset. It's important for your children to see you being positive, and that helps them become positive as well. It's important for them to know that they get attention for those positive things, not just the negative things. So we have to think about how we're framing those conversations when your kids come home from school. Um, if you ask them how their day was and they say good, and you just move on, is that giving them the attention they want for those positive things? But if they come home and say something bad happened and you immediately jump on it and give them all that attention, they're going to think that when they come home, the only way they're going to get that attention is if they're telling you negative things. So making sure that we're talking about all the wonderful things that are going on as well.
It's important to be balanced with that. We also want to build their strengths and help them recognize this. We're building upon this in school with the seven mindsets curriculum. Recently, we are talking about building and showcasing their strengths, helping students realize what their strengths are. But sometimes, as parents, we see the strengths in our kids that they might not see in themselves. And I think it's really important for us to tap into that because I have a lot of students who don't know how to accept a compliment or don't know what they're good at. And I know it'd go a long way if parents start to notice those things and maybe give them opportunities to show it. If you have a child who shows leadership, can you showcase that in your family? Can your child contribute in some way? That's a big way that builds that strength. Is there an activity they should be part of? Also, when things go bad or things are difficult, can we build strengths from those opportunities? Can we give them chances to grow in the areas that they might not be as strong so it could even become a strength in the future? That's going to build their confidence as well.
The third area that we wanted to talk about was encouraging self advocacy. Unfortunately, we know that we're not always going to be there with our kids. They're going to grow up, they're going to move away. So we need to start teaching them now how to handle these situations themselves without us just flying in and fixing it for them. It's so easy just to fix it, but it's important for them to learn those skills to do it themselves. So one area where you're going to see a lot of interaction is with their peers. So, are you teaching them how to um, handle themselves when something does not go right? Are we teaching them how to tell a friend, hey, I don't like it when you talk to me like that? Or I don't like it when you do that? Unfortunately, our students are faced with a lot of social media and a lot of TikTok and all those things where they see negative interactions and they think that that's okay. They're laughing with each other, or I know my son plays video games where he's watching people play video games and they're picking on each other, and so sometimes kids think that's okay, but it's important for us to teach our children how to stand up to someone and just say, hey, I don't like it when you talk to me like that, instead of just laughing along with them. And how to respectfully eliminate negative peer relationships. Our students are very lucky that a lot of them have been together since kindergarten, but unfortunately, as we grow up, we go our different ways. And that doesn't mean you have to hate one another, but it does mean that our relationship might not be the same. So, how do we teach our children how to eliminate those negative relationships in their lives? Telling them that it's okay not to be friends with that student anymore, or that friend that you've had for a long time. It's okay that you're not. That doesn't mean you're going to be mean, and that doesn't mean that you're going to hate them, but that just means that you're going to go in opposite ways. The next thing is how to self advocate with your teachers. It's easy for us as parents to just shoot an email to the teacher and talk about a grade or talk about what happened when their child was absent. But it's important for us to teach our students to do that. When a child is absent, it's okay for them to reach out to their teacher and say, hey, I was out today, what did I miss? Also, sometimes students are sitting by people that they know that they shouldn't be around. So it's a great thing to teach your student to email the teacher and say, very respectfully, I don't always get along with this person, or you know what, sometimes I get along with them too much and get myself in trouble. So, do you mind if I could switch my seat? Do you mind switching my seat so that they could be around someone else? Teachers would absolutely respect that and really like for children to be able to advocate for themselves in that area. And the last one is with their siblings or their family members. We want to fix the problem when our children are fighting with each other, but it's important for us to teach them how to fix those problems themselves. And then empowering versus enabling. I was reading a book last week and it was called Maybe You Should Talk to Someone. And one quote that really just jumped out at me was, too many parents make life hard for their children by trying too zealously to make it easy for them. Meaning, we just want to go in and fix it. But in the long run, what's important is teaching them the skills to fix it themselves.
It's way quicker to fix it for them. But if you look at the difference between enabling parents and empowering parents, we know the outcome automatically. We can say that it's more success for our child if we empower them in many ways. But sometimes it takes less time to just enable whatever's going on. So, enabling parents accept excuses. They might even make excuses for their kids. When their kid's in trouble, they want to rescue them or bail them out. They want to do things for them. I know that with my youngest, it's a whole lot easier for me to put his shoes on for him than to help him or allow him to struggle with it as he's learning how to do these things. Some parents want to protect their child from consequences. And if we do that, do they learn from the situation? Or are they in trouble again with something similar because they never really learned there's a consequence for their actions? Now, on the flip side, empowering parents encourage responsibility. You'll see a lot of things over there that say teaching. That takes time to teach skills, teach them to advocate. They might model things for their child so that they can equip them to do that. They're going to help kids respect authority, whether or not they like someone. We all know we have to respect authority in life. And that's a valuable skill for them to learn in school. Realizing happiness is not the end goal, but providing tools to create their own happiness. We want our kids to know it's okay if you're not happy every day. Nobody's happy every day in every situation. But if I'm unhappy with a situation or something going on, I have the tools and I have the power to remove myself from that, to get help if I need it. And that's what we want our kids to know. We also want to hold our kids accountable because accountability builds that resilience that we know they need. We want to challenge negative patterns that they have, again, because it prevents things in the future. And we want to realize mistakes are an opportunity to learn. In middle school, they should make a lot of mistakes. The consequences are a lot less intense at this age, and it only increases as they get older. So, research has been done on what makes a person resilient. There's a lot of different colleges, universities that have done research on this. There's a rating scale linked in here, and you can click on this at home and go through and ask yourself these questions if this applies to your child. or even yourself? Are there areas that as a family you guys can build resilience or change your mindset to see it as a positive when they're struggling through something because it gives them that resilience in the long run? So, we have some questions that you can ask yourself and your family. And if you're really brave, ask your child some of these things to get their perspective. Sometimes, as parents, we can say, oh, of course, my child knows it's their responsibility to have their grades checked, or of course, they know that they can come to me with any problem. We all believe that. But sometimes, especially in middle school, their perspective shifts, and we want to know what they feel because at the end of the day, they need to know it's okay to make mistakes. That doesn't mean they're free from consequences or accountability, but we want them to know that it's a safe space to do something wrong, get some ideas, and fix the problem.
You know, many of you have probably heard me say, want them to make mistakes right now. This is the time to do it because this is the time that we can teach them when the consequences are surface level. You know, when we can handle the consequences here, make your mistakes, but learn from them. That's the most important thing is that they're learning from those mistakes.
Mhm.
So when your child gets in the car, are they eager to tell you about all the bad things that have happened? Or is it a balanced conversation? Is it okay for your students to make or for your children to make mistakes in their household? Do you talk about what happened, what went wrong, in different ways that you could fix it to make it right?
Mhm.
Does your child have chores? That's super important that they have that responsibility at home. If your child gets in trouble, is your immediate reaction to get them out of it or to help them learn from it to avoid it in the future? And when your child shares a problem with you, are you inclined to immediately fix it or validate and support them in finding a solution? Sometimes, you know, like all of us, we don't necessarily want a solution. We just want to be able to vent about it.
Mhm.
And finally, how would your child say you react when they share that they did something wrong? You know, are you immediately just going to jump on them and get into it with them? Or are you going to talk about it and talk about the positives and or how to make this situation into a positive?
Thank you so much for being part of this today. I promise you it will pay off if you take the time to teach your child these skills, hold them accountable, allow them to feel their mistakes right now in safe ways, and then problem solve and know that they can get through hard times in any situation.
Thank you.